friends, I have a surprise for you today, and I think you're going to like it. Or many of you will like it, and some of you who are still hung up on Snyder probably won't. But after we just saw Superman go to digital, well, it looks like we've got a sequel already on the fast track. Not sure what I'm talking about? Well, here we go! Now, before we get started, just a real quick reminder to double check you're still subscribed to the channel. That's right, look down there, and if that button is red, turn it to gray. And subscribe to the channel, turn on all notifications so you don't miss anything, because I do dozens of things a week, including many live streams. In addition to that, you don't want to miss out on entertainment, information, and or education, because sometimes I do teach myself and hopefully you something. But let's jump into this. According to Variety, James Gunn says he's shooting the Superman sequel much sooner rather than later. We're scheduling it now. Wow, that is very quick. I wonder what inspired them to rush. Probably a bunch of deadlines that they need to hit, or some metrics perhaps Warner Brothers is looking for. Can't blame them. You need something productive to come out of this financial experiment, and hopefully improvement on what we got with Superman. Gunn is giving an update on his Superman sequel. During a recent interview with Collider, Gunn said he has completed the treatment for his Superman follow-up, and he and his team are currently scheduling production. Now, he's got the treatment done. I'm not sure how hammered out the script is, but remember he said he wasn't going to green light anything until he had a script done? Is there a script, James Gunn? We're scheduling it now, Gunn says. I'm totally done with the treatment. My treatments are incredibly intense. They're not regular treatments. They're 60-page treatments with dialogue and everything. Whew. So it's almost a script is what he's trying to say, because he's breaking his rules. And so now I'm turning that into a script. We're planning out when we're going to shoot that. It's going to be much sooner rather than later. You know what? That might help, because a lot of people saw Superman come up short. And apparently there's some things being changed in the digital release of this. And for those of you who have had access to it, you may have noticed maybe the words of Superman's dad, of his parents, weren't exactly what Lex Luthor presented to him. And maybe Lex got one over on Mr. Terrific. Gunn recently revealed across various interviews during his Superman press tour that he is writing a new film featuring David Corenswet as the Man of Steel, although he remained vague whether it was a standalone sequel or an entirely new project. Of course, we know we have Peacemaker Season 2, Supergirl, and Lanterns coming up. Apparently, the Wonder Woman thing is moving forward with a script writer that I still am not sold on. And Clayface is definitely something that's in the works. Although I really wish they'd hold that back and do better things ahead of it, but I guess we'll see. And when Gunn says fast-tracked, clearly he means fast-tracked for early 2026 shoot and July 2027 release date, at least according to Jordan over at World of Real. That sounds like this is really a sped-up timetable, and maybe he was pushed into this by Warner Brothers. Warner Brothers appears to be putting this one on the fast track, according to Jordan. And if you've been following along, that shouldn't come as a surprise. The studio clearly wants to keep the momentum it built this summer from losing steam, and that seems like a solid move. James Gunn has already told The Hollywood Reporter that his Superman follow-up would begin production not too far away from today. Wow. Now we have two updates coming in, and they hint at massive progress. The interview from Collider, which we already spoke about, definitely updated everything beyond the 60-page treatment that is close enough to a script to greenlight. According to an insider, Empire City Box Office, Warner Brothers is already targeting an early 2026 production start. Obviously, they're scheduling it, and a July 2027 release date, all but locked in for Superman 2, or whatever the title it ultimately carries. Gunn refuses to label it a sequel, but let's be honest, Superman will once again be front and center. The plot remains under wraps, I'm sure it will, until it leaks and Jeff Snyder wrecks it, which I'm okay with, by the way, though speculation ranges from a Superman-Supergirl team-up to a storyline involving the Authority. Please, let's not do the Authority. Please. Superman as a standalone fared well for Warner Brothers, earning solid reviews, 83% on Rotten Tomatoes. Not that that matters all that much. Go to Criticless. And despite softer overseas number, it made it to a global total of 583 million. So congratulations, Superman. You made it. Let's see if you can make more next time around. And just so I don't drop the ball, remember these two? As I mentioned at the beginning of the video, well, James Gunn backtracks on Jor-El in Superman's digital release. That's right. James Gunn may have backtracked on Jor-El with the digital release of Superman movie, which became available on Friday. For whatever reason, he changed things up with Jor-El, essentially made Superman's father into a Viltrumite. It's an invisible reference, I guess. A bad guy, indeed. The movie makes it pretty clear the footage was legit, as Lex said it was, and even Mr. Terrific. Then Gunn came out in a post-release video and told fans they're shoot out of luck. Nice, right? Nah, typical Gunn. And as Matt McGloin had already conveyed to everybody in his coverage, nobody liked that scene, including myself. Even Kevin Smith, who likes everything and usually cries quite a bit, did not like what Gunn did with Jor-El. Gunn's Superman bombed internationally for many reasons, and some of the feedback was a little rough. While at Comic-Con, not one person liked the scene. Also, I know Asians hated what Gunn did with the kaiju scene and how Gunn handled Jor-El. It sends a message that families of immigrants are evil. They took it personally and they felt insulted. And you know what? With how hypersensitive and overly political everything is these days, that just doesn't surprise me. Well, apparently with the digital release of Superman, James Gunn may have changed things with Jor-El. I hope so. Eagle-eyed fans spotted the following, which seemingly reveals the message was actually doctored by Lex. The Daily Planet shows Luthor was behind the false images of Superman's parents, message claiming that. And here it is in a tweet. You can go and find this right now. It's out there. Or you can actually find it in the article over on Cosmic Book News. Regardless, it's pretty bad. And it's a pretty bad thing done by Lex Luthor. But what do you expect? He's a bad guy. And a very good one at that. So if this is true and it sticks, Gunn is making things right. Again, Superman's out on digital if you so choose to pick it up. I, on the other hand, will wait. We'll see what things look like on the other side of the next few weeks as I continue to mull over the movie. I'm not changing my score. I don't think that I will, but I saw more in it and more potential in it than I saw in a whole lot of other superhero offerings this particular season. And I think Disney, by pure observation, has to be shaking in their shoes because of all the things I'm hearing around Avengers Doomsday. In fact, I'll be dropping a video later, either today or tomorrow, that's going to break down some major problems that they're having with their major Marvel movie. On that note, what do you think? First of all, are you surprised that James Gunn's being asked to rush Superman and that we'll be seeing it sooner rather than later, as in July 2027? Are you actually excited for a sequel to Superman coming so soon? Are you even looking forward to Supergirl or Lanterns? And what do you think of Peacemaker Season 2? Good questions all. Let me know the answers down in the comments section below. As always, be sure to take care of yourself, take care of others, and until next time, see ya! Maybe watching Peacemaker 2?